Hi, mystery lovers. Welcome to the Mystery Fix, where we talk about writing mysteries. My name is Zara Altair, and I am the author of the Argolicus Mysteries, and I coach writers on writing their mystery novels. And today I want to talk about your mystery subgenre. Because if you clump everything together, then it's hard for readers and especially buyers to understand if your story is the exact kind of thing that they like. So if you don't know your subgenre, you won't reach the right audience. And so it's really important to know what your subgenre is, because the mystery genre itself is wide. It contains a lot of subgenres. So when you're clear about your subgenre, you're prepared to write a story that appeals to the right readers. And because someone who loves a cozy mystery may have no interest in your cop thriller or your noir detective. A subgenre is a subcategory within a genre. So in this particular case, it's a subcategory of mysteries. And there are a great variety of subgenres within the mystery and crime genre. So how you label your story will help you reach the right editor if you're going with traditional publishing, and it will help you categorize your book to self-publish on digital platforms like Amazon. And author Tammy Lebrecht says readers are subgenre loyal. She specializes in email for authors, working with your email list. And so I would say take that as a cue, know your subgenre. First, understand the fiction mystery genre and understand the tropes. You can go back to the very first Mystery Fix to take a look at that, what the tropes are in the mystery genre itself. That genre is where a detective or other professional or non-professional solves a crime. It's that simple. So as you can see, there's many ways to approach that. The backbone of the mystery genre is solving the crime. So the mystery genre is filled with many, many subgenres, but I thought today we could take a look at the basic ones to help you identify yours. So first of all, we have the traditional mystery, which is a legacy from the 19th century when Edgar Allan Poe started the traditional mystery, and it sets the sleuth on the trail of the killer. And brains are the sleuth's primary tools for unraveling threads that lead to the discovery. Another big subgenre is the cozy mystery, because it's set in a comfortable social setting, a small town, an academic institution. It's a small world, so you don't have to build a giant world. It's just a small world. It's fairly intimate. And a private citizen becomes an amateur detective to discover the killer. This subgenre has mild language, no violence, and ensures the safety of children and animals. So the cozy mystery is cozy. It's a small world. It's a private citizen who sets out to solve a crime, and it's gentle in its presentation and its language. And then another subgenre is the hard-boiled, and a subgenre of that is noir. So I want to talk a little bit about both of those. The hard-boiled detective is at odds with himself and society, and he deals with corruption from his own moral code, which is usually also at odds with society. Violence and strong language are not only acceptable but expected. So it's it's like the opposite of the cozy. It's strong, it's violent, it's tough. And then within the hard-boiled genre is noir, which is even darker than hard-boiled, and the stories are gritty and dark, and the brutality is very far away from cozy, which doesn't have any violence at all. So they're like opposite ends of the spectrum. Cozy on one side and noir on the other. All right, then there's the very, very popular police procedural, and this is where a detective or police department, law enforcement department is the protagonist, and they set out to find the killer and emphasizes investigative procedure in solving the crime. So in this day and age, there's a lot involved in that investigative procedure, and many people are involved. So there's a lot of research involved in writing a police procedural. You need to know your law enforcement details, because today's law enforcement includes the use of science and computers and specialists within all those fields, and they all take part in the procedure of identifying the killer. So it's very logical and very group focused. Even if your main detective is just one law enforcement officer, he is working with a coterie, perhaps his partner, all the people in his department, and the hierarchy within the law enforcement agency. So there's a lot going on, and you need to know a lot of details. Okay, so that police procedural is definitely a professional crime solver, and then there's also the amateur sleuth, and that is usually a private citizen, and it's personal. The protagonist takes on an investigation of a death, and it's usually a friend, and often because that amateur sleuth feels the police have either ignored or bungled the solution, and so they decide to set off and discover the killer on their own. So it's kind of a step up from the cozy, and you have a little more leeway with language and violence, but it's definitely an amateur. It's not a professional. All right. Then the other professionals are the private detective or an industry professional. So they're not a law enforcement officer, but they work as a paid professional to solve the crime. Just so you know, in real life, private detectives rarely are involved in murder cases, but readers love this genre, and that goes back to the hard-boiled detectives of the 20th century. So today, too, private detectives for sure use computers and as well as just feet on the ground. So it's okay to bring the digital world into their life. And then there's a subgenre that I call the time warp subgenre, because it's either historical or the future, and sometimes it's alternative history, but it's primarily a mystery, and they're set in a time other than the present. So these stories require a lot of background research, whether you're doing historical research, or setting up a future world. And the setting is often like another character in the story and enriches the details, and oftentimes clues are directly related to that world within the story. So I just wanted to remind you that that's why I put them together, these time warp stories. They're not in the present, and there are a number of readers who love historical mysteries, but there are also a number of readers kind of crossover from the science fiction genre that love stories set in the future. Okay, and then the other big subgenre that I want to talk about is the legal and medical, the professional subgenre. And this genre focuses on an amateur detective who is a professional. And it's a popular genre, but you need extensive background knowledge. And most of the legal or medical mysteries that you find are usually written by someone who is a professional, a doctor, or an attorney, because they have all the details that they need for all the procedures that go on. All right, those are the big, broad subgenres, and there are many more, but those are the ones I wanted to cover today. And then just because digital booksellers like Amazon create a category called mystery, thriller, and suspense, thrillers and suspense are not really mystery subgenres. And I wanted to make that clear. They're actually separate genres. So even though someone like Amazon clumps mystery, thriller, and suspense into one broad category, the essence of the three are different. So let's take a look at thrillers. And thrillers are action novels, and the protagonist is often chasing or being chased by the antagonist, and the clock is ticking. The protagonist must save the world or the president's daughter before the antagonist can complete their evil plot. So when you look at thrillers, think chase. And then suspense stories reverse the story, so the antagonist chases or imprisons the protagonist, and the protagonist must escape the villain, usually through their wits. And the clock ticks in these stories, too. The hero or heroine must escape before they lose their life. So rather than chase, think trap. Your protagonist is trapped. So that's kind of my brief overview. There's so much more to, thinking about subgenres, but I wanted to give you a brief overview of mystery subgenres and talk a little bit about why thrillers and suspense are outside of the mystery category. But I also wanted to emphasize, especially for beginning writers, that readers know what they like. And when you focus on your subgenre within the mystery category, readers know what to expect, and they're much more likely to buy your book. So a clear definition of your subgenre attracts readers who like it. It's that simple. So, be clear about your subgenre. Just like you want to be clear about your mystery, you want to be clear about your subgenre. A Sally Smith author doesn't tell us a lot, but Sally Smith's Cozy Mysteries tells readers, oh, I love cozy mysteries. I think I might like this. And also it's going to help you in your marketing world, because readers who don't enjoy your subgenre won't read expecting something else and then leave poor reviews. So if a reader's expecting a dark, gritty, noir environment and you have a police procedural, it's not going to meet their expectations. And even though your book may be great for your subgenre, those readers are going to leave poor reviews because they didn't get what they expect. So be super, super clear about your subgenre. It's really going to help your marketing and reaching the right readers, the readers who love what you write. So when you market your book, stating your subgenre tells readers they have found a book they will like. It's like, oh yeah, I love reading dark, gritty, noir stuff, and boom, they're in. Or I love, cozy mysteries and small towns and smart, witty protagonist with great friends. Um, so right away, you're telling your readers, this is your subgenre, and dig right in. So you can even mention it in your book blurb. So if you can say, for example, if you like cozy mysteries, you'll love your title, whatever your title is. Okay, so that's it for today's Mystery Fix. And as always, you can leave your questions in the comments, and I am happy to answer them. And keep writing.